Good evening, everyone. Just imagine walking through our campus dining hall at the end of a busy lunch hour. Trays piles high with half-eaten salad, untouched slices of pizza, and bowls of unconsumed rice. Across the United States, college campuses generate a staggering 22 million pounds of food waste every year, enough to feed tens of thousands of families in need. But most of this perfectly edible food is sent straight to landfills, where it deposits and emits methane, a greenhouse gas far more potent than carbon dioxide. Today, I'm here to persuade you that it's time for our university to adopt a mandatory food waste recycling ordinance because sustainability doesn't start in a lab or a classroom. It starts right here on our plate. First, let's look at the scope of this issue. On average, each student wastes 112 pounds of food every academic year. Here on our campus, preliminary audits suggest that nearly 20% of prepared meal end up in the trash instead of making it to hungry mouth. Even flagship institutions aren't immune. Last year, the University of Florida alone discarded more than 300,000 pounds of cafeteria leftovers. But this problem isn't just about spoiled sandwiches or forgotten fruit. Every pound of wasted food represents squandered water, energy, labor, and transportation resources. Nationally, as much as 40% of the entire US food supply, about 133 billion pounds, is wasted annually, contributing roughly 37 million metric tons of greenhouse gases to our atmosphere. Clearly, our current take it trash cycle is unsustainable, costly, and environmentally damaging. So now consider the consequences. Environmentally, landfill food waste produces methane at rates far more harmful than carbon dioxide, accelerating climate change that threatens our future. Economically, universities fork out millions. University fork out millions each year on waste hauling and landfill fees. Money that could instead fund student scholarships or new research initiatives. Ethically, food waste on this scale is a societal disgrace when nearly 35 million Americans struggle with food insecurity. As members of an institution dedicated to learning and social responsibility, we cannot stand by while perfectly edible meals end up rotting on the ground and millions go hungry. So, what can we do? The answer is simple: implement implement a campus food waste recycling ordinance that requires every dining hall and on-campus food vendor to separate pre and post-consumer organic waste into clearly labeled compost bins. These bins will be collected weekly by a certified composting partner, ensuring that food scraps food scraps are turned into nutrient-rich soil rather than greenhouse gases. To kickstart the program, we'll launch No Scrap Left Behind as a pilot across all dining facilities. Peer institutions that adopted a similar ordinance saw a 28% reduction in plate waste within just 1 year. Funding for the program would come from a modest adjustment to our existing sustainability fee, offset by savings in waste management costs. The benefits are threefold. Environmentally, diverting organic waste from our landfill dumps could cut our campus greenhouse gas emissions by an estimated 15%, helping us meet our climate action plan goals. Financially, many universities report a 10 to 20% drop in disposal costs within 2 years of mandatory composting. Savings we can reinvest in research grants, facility upgrades, or student support services. Socially, we recruit and train student-led waste ambassadors who will champion the ordinance, organize composting workshops, and build a culture of stewardship. Surplus compost can enrich our campus gardens or be donated to local farms, completing a virtuous cycle from plate to plant. You may be thinking, is this logistically feasible and how much will it cost? The good news is that most commercial waste holders already offer organic collections at rates competitive with regular trash pickup. Any upfront investment in bin infrastructure and the signature would be recouped within 2 to 3 years through reduced tipping fees. Training for dining staff and student volunteers can be integrated into existing sustainability programs at virtually no extra expense. With carefully planning and phased rollout, this ordinance is both entirely feasible and fiscally responsible. Now is the time for action. I urge each of you to speak up, contact your student government representatives and members of our Sustainability Council this week to voice your support for the campus food waste recycling ordinance. Attend the open forum next Tuesday at 6 p.m. in the Student Union ballroom and sign the petition that will go before the Board of Trustees. Together, we can transform our campus into a model of zero waste innovation. Let's turn trash into opportunity, one compost bin at a time, and show the world that sustainability truly begins on our plates. Thank you so much. That's all my speech.